Hey everybody, welcome to Glow Up Handbook. We're going to go ahead and start seated on the mat with your legs crossed doing some spinal circles. Moving to one side, today we're going to be doing a splits training flow. If you like this flow, be sure to like and subscribe. I have lots of splits trainings on my channel and more to come. Go ahead and switch directions. Just circling out the spine here, getting loose, getting comfortable in your body. This flow is going to be geared towards more intermediate to advanced, but I will be providing some beginner options, so feel free to follow along. So go ahead and come to standing with your hands planted on the mat. Your feet are going to be about as wide as the mat. Here, you're going to point your toes out and then drop and lift your hips. So drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift. Now come a little bit wider, just toe heeling your feet out, and then drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift. We're doing 5 of these. Drop, lift, drop, lift. Then toe heel out, a little bit wider. Last time, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift. Now come back to where your feet are right about as wide as the mat, and we're going to repeat that same thing again. So drop, lift, drop, lift. This is a great way to get warmed up in the hips before splits training. Drop, lift, drop, lift. Go a little bit wider. 5, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, and then a little bit wider. Drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift. Now go ahead and come into a forward fold here. You can bring your elbows to the mat if that's in your practice, or stay on your hands. Go ahead and grab your ankles and pull yourself in a little bit tighter, getting into the hamstrings here. You can rock back and forth, just transferring your weight from your toes to your heels and seeing what difference that feels like. Awesome. Now what I want you to do is come back to seated on the mat in a straddle pose. So I want this straddle to be pretty easy because we're going to be doing some strength training here in your straddle pose. So strength is just as important in flexibility as passive stretching. So what we're going to be doing is straddle push-ups here. So you're going to plant your hands on the mat in front of you. And when you do that, you're going to do a push-up and then push off the mat. So down, up, 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 down, up. Now we're going to go into another strength training one, deadlifts here. We're going to straddle. So you're going to cross your hands over your chest and then lift and lower your chest, keeping your back straight. So this one's really, really hard. It took me a long time. Just go as far as you can. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Awesome. We're going to do both of those one more time. So you're going to go into your straddle push-ups. Down, up, 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 down, up. Now you can do the same variation as before, or take your hands behind your head and then do the deadlifts here. So this is hard. Down, up, 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 down, up. Awesome. Now go ahead and bring your hands to the mat. You're going to grab one of your blocks and you're going to place it under your right foot. So I like it kind of in the heel area. It's going to be a little hard to figure out the placement at first, but you can play with it. So just plant your hands on the mat in front of you, just about at the width of your mat, and you're just going to go side to side here like I'm showing on screen. So right, left, right, and then go ahead and drop onto your elbows here and just hold. Today for our splits training, the plan is to focus a lot on different variations of straddle with the blocks. Once we've straddled it out, we're going to move into lots of variations of frog. Once we've done frog, we're going to hold a middle split. Then we're going to go into our front split series. So it'll be about 22 minutes of stretching, but we're going to hit all 3 of our splits. And a little bonus oversplit at the end. If you're really trying to get your splits, I recommend working on this 3 times a week. Come all the way down, just holding and breathing. If you feel like you want to come out, just take a deep breath in. And now we're going to go ahead and switch sides. So you're going to bring your block under the left foot, or whatever foot you didn't have it under before. And same as before, take your hands about the width of your mat and move side to side. So you're just going to shift from one direction to the other, one to the other, one to the other, right, left, and down to the elbows. It's very important that you stretch with the same intensity on both sides. So even if that means you have to back off on your more flexible side, that's what you want to do. It's very, very important for long-term health and safety of your body to have equal flexibility. You can come all the way down to the mat. Awesome. So grab your other block now, and you're going to place it under the right heel. So there's going to be blocks under both of your heels, and we're going to shift side to side. Sorry if you guys heard my phone kind of blowing up in the background. I thought I had that off. So right, left, and then down to your elbows. So this may be a little bit more intense. So just focus on your breathing, counting in for 3, out for 3. Remembering why you chose to do this practice today and what your goal is. This flow is going to have a nice balance of passive stretching, but also active stretching, as you've seen. Awesome. So you can go ahead and get rid of those blocks. Don't need them right now, but I would keep them close. So come back into a straddle and just walk yourself forward. So no blocks this time. Just feel how different it feels after you've done all that stretching with the blocks. You can try and deepen your straddle a little bit if you're ready. You can try and tuck and tilt your tailbone. That may feel awkward, but it's a really good way to get deeper. Tuck and tilt. It's a very subtle movement. Perfect. So come up onto your elbows, and I just want you to shift forward and back slightly. What this does is it helps you learn how to roll into middle splits. It's kind of a precursor to that. So just rolling back and forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. Hold, hold. Beautiful. Go ahead and just plant your feet in front of you and just shift them side to side, just kind of shaking it out. And next we're going to come into a frog pose. So you want your blocks to be close. I'm shifting them forward so it's an easier grab because you're going to need them. So when you're doing frog, you want to think of letting your knees slide out. You want your knees in line with your hips and your ankles in line with your knees. You want your feet flexed to protect your knees as well. So you can see I have a slight arch in my back, but you don't want it to be such a large arch that like your whole back, your belly's on the ground and your whole back is swayed. I am holding myself up a little bit because I'm not quite to the mat yet. Frog pose is a difficult one, and it usually takes me some warming up and stretching to get there. You can go ahead and drop all the way down so your head is on the mat if you're ready for that. You can push up onto your hands. This will definitely get deeper because it forces your hips down. It's kind of counterintuitive because you think it would be easier on your hands, but it is not. Perfect. So take a block under your right knee. You're going to place your knee on it and then slide your other foot out. That's going to be the easiest way to get into it. So you're in a full frog again, but you have one knee on the block, so the one leg is slightly elevated. Again, with your core, you want to be holding it in a little bit, so you don't want to sway too much towards the mat. You can shift forward and back a little slightly, whatever kind of shifting you need to do to get comfortable in this posture. Breathe. If you're ready, push up onto your hands. Drop down, and we're going to go ahead and take that block, switch it to the other side. So put your knee on the block and slide out. Again, knees in line with hips and ankles in line with knees. I probably could have shifted my hips up a little bit, making this harder than it needs to be. If your hips are too far forward, you're not getting the full benefit of the stretch. If your hips are too far back, which mine are a little bit here, you're deepening the stretch in a way that you don't need to be deepening it unless you're purposely trying to do that. Awesome. Come onto your hands if you're ready. Perfect. Bring your legs together and you're going to grab the other block and place it where your right knee is going to be. So you're going to come into a frog with both knees on blocks. This one's a little bit tricky to get into. I place one knee on one block, then I pull the other block in so I can gauge where it's going to be. So the alignment's going to be the same. This one is even more important since you're elevated to keep your core in a little bit and not let it sway towards the mat too much. You can shift forward and back slightly. It's going to be a pretty intense stretch. Now push up onto your hands. Awesome. Go ahead and come on out of that. We're going to do one more frog pose here. We're going to do a hold without the blocks, but instead of keeping our feet apart, we're going to keep our feet together. I find this one to be easier than the feet apart, but some people find this to be more difficult. So let me know in the comments below which one you like better, the feet together or the feet apart, and why you like it better. Because I like this one better because it's easier. I like the other one better because I get more of a benefit from it. Great job. Frog is always a little bit of a mental challenge for me, and so is holding long postures. I tend to want to just keep moving. So relaxing my body into the stretch is definitely something that I'm always working on. Push up onto your hands, knees together. Awesome job. So we're going to go into some splits work, starting with a modified version. So what I want you to do is you're going to bring 2 blocks beneath where your kind of pelvis is, and you're going to slide into a middle split, just placing your lower stomach and pelvis on the blocks. So a modified middle split here. I want everyone to just follow along no matter what level you're at. So even if you're more advanced than this, you're going to be doing this variation. If this is too hard for you, then hold yourself up with your hands. And you'll get there. If you keep doing this flow, you will get there. Now lift up remove one of the blocks. So you're down to one block, and you're going to slide back into your middle split. So we're just easing ourselves into this one this time. Middle split is never a split you want to just slide into without being warmed up. You can hurt yourself, pull a muscle, tear a muscle, and that would take you out of it for a long time. So definitely don't want that. Perfect. So slide back, remove that block. Now what we're going to do is go into a straddle and roll yourself forward into that middle split. So earlier we were doing rolls. This is when that comes in handy. You can extend your hands in front of you. You can see all my dog's toys in the background. I have a Great Pyrenees, a big white fluffy dog. If any of you guys have dogs, let me know what you have. They're so cute. You can extend your hands to the side before pushing up and out of that pose. Go ahead and plant your feet in front of you and just shift them side to side. Awesome. So roll over onto all fours. You're going to come up to kneeling, standing, lift your hands over your head, and move your right leg forward into a low lunge. We're moving on to our front split series. So what I want you to do is do a low lunge, half split, hamstring stretch, and then push the knee out. So low lunge, half split, knee out. Low lunge, half split, knee out. We're warming up all the muscles we need to have a good front split safely. And push the knee out. Low lunge, half split, forward, 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 knee out. Now grab both of your blocks. You're going to place them underneath your right hamstring. So again, even if you're more advanced in this, just follow along and kind of feel what it feels like. Be easy on your body. And you're just going to hold a modified front split. So if you're working on your front splits, this is a great way to get there. Perfect. So if you're ready, you can remove one of the blocks. So you're going to be doing a front split with your hamstring on one block. You really want to focus on keeping your hip bones squared to the front of the mat. That's why I have my hands on my hips. It helps me keep track of where my hips are, because the tendency is going to let one hip go backwards and kind of open up the split, which has its place, but it's not a full front split, which is what we're trying to do today. Perfect. So if you're ready, you can remove that block and come into a full front split. Again, focusing on keeping your hips facing forward, toes pointed if you can. You can shift side to side. Walk your hands forward into a hamstring stretch if that's in your practice and something you want to try today. You can do a little back bend, walking your hands behind you, arching your back. And if you're really advanced, only if you feel ready, this is really tricky, grab the back foot and open up into a quad stretch. I'm very, very comfortable in a front split, and I was for a long time before I tried that. Awesome work, guys. Come back to standing kneeling after just neutralizing your spine, and then you're going to bring the left foot forward, and we're going to repeat that series on the other side. So low lunge, half split, forward, knee out, 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 Perfect. Now grab those 2 blocks, place them under your left hamstring this time. I'm so sorry about my phone. Left hamstring this time, and you're going to extend into a front split. Again, hips facing forward if it helps you to put your hands on your hips to square away. Now remove one of the blocks. It's very natural to have one side that's more flexible than the other. So for me, this side is more difficult. The first side I don't feel as much of a stretch, and this one I definitely do. So it's totally normal. The key thing is, like I said before, to stretch them the same and not let one side get way more flexible than the other. You can't visually tell too much that this side is so much tighter, but it is, I promise. Okay, come into a full front split on your left side, squaring yourself to the mat, toes pointed. If you would like, you can shift side to side, just getting into some different areas of your front split. We're just going to be playing with some variations here. Walk yourself forward into that hamstring stretch. Walk yourself back into the back bend, hands behind you, arch your back. And only if you're truly ready, do the quad stretch, so lifting the back leg, grabbing the top of your foot and pulling it in. Perfect. Swing your leg back. Whew, you're doing great. So if you're not super comfortable in your front splits, I want you to do a regular front split. If you are, bring the block to the top of the mat and plant your heel on that block. So you're coming into an oversplit. Oversplits can go pretty deep. You can do a back bend here. You can do 2 blocks, 3 blocks, a chair. You can really push this, but you just want to make sure you're being very, very smart and in tune with your body. So go ahead and switch sides. You can either do the oversplit on the left side with your heel on the block or just your front split. Beautiful. You can walk it back a little bit, open up. You can do a quick hamstring stretch here. You guys are doing so good. You should be so proud of yourselves for doing this flow today. It's not easy, but keep doing this and you will reach those splits goals, I promise. Now just cross your legs, come into an easy pose, fold forward, just loosening up your body and giving it the rest that it needs. I'm just sliding up, rounding my back out a little bit, doing one head roll all the way to the left, one head roll all the way to the right, and I'm sliding right back into my easy pose. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more. Bye.